there was 5 other guys there on the range that night, right? We were locked down at 11:30, and here we hears this like like a deep breath, like someone's choking, and we're in the cell, like, and we can't see this, right? And then we hears this big bang, and like afterwards I found out what happened, but like I start screaming out for the guard because the guard is outside on the post outside. And anyway, finally the guard came in, a couple other guards came in, and like they didn't know how to react to it because the man was just in his cell going crazy, and like they didn't know what was after happening to the guy. And which then they figured out he was bleeding out the head, and he was after smacking his head off the bar, off the bottom part of the door, and he either knocked himself out or he was heavily, because when they were dragging him out I heard him saying like, leave me alone, leave me alone. And then I heard one of the guards saying, stop trying to bite me, stop trying to bite me. And then 2 minutes after that I heard the guard giving him CPR, right? So like it happened pretty quick, whatever it was, right? Because while I was there, me and him were like really close, you know. I talked to him a lot, and a few times there I'd be telling a few jokes or something, I'd see him laughing, like you know, just take a quick look at him and see him having a laugh and that. I think he was a good guy. He just fell through the cracks, and you know, he ended up in a bad place. He should have been in the hospital. That's where he should have been. I'm no doctor, but I could see that, you know, this guy should have been in a hospital. You know, and that's a lot to put on a staff that knows nothing about medical, like mental, like if you have mental problems or psychotic problems or whatever. If you put that in, that's the same as putting them in with me or you. I know nothing about people with mental issues, right? So you're going to expect, you know, prison guards to look after someone with mental issues. How can they do it? Right? So whoever decides this in the first place, they're the people that should be checked out on this. Like, you know, they're the ones should be held accountable. Right? Like 2 people are dead in this prison within 6 months.
You didn't see anything that happened that night. You could just hear it.
If I had to see it, well, it'd be a different story, it'd be facts, but I heard a lot of stuff. I heard the man saying, like, leave me alone, stuff like that. I knew that was Austin. And I heard the guards saying, like, stop trying to bite us, and this and that. And I heard the roughness, like the feet banging and chains, shackles and stuff like that. And another thing I heard was, like, the guards giving him CPR, they would not give up on him. Like, they would try it for at least 20 minutes, like, you know. And I could see the guards after, like they were actually visibly shaken. Like I see goosebumps on their arms, like they were visually shaken by what happened, right? That's a lot for someone, right? I took it really hard there where, you know, I wasn't used to actually seeing someone die right next to me, you know? Right?
So did an ambulance ever show up, or what happened there, James?
Yeah, an ambulance did show up. I'd say, when they took him out of his cell, like with guards, like if they're coming up on a cell, right, they don't know if this guy is after trying to slice up, or he's trying to commit suicide, or he's just playing a scam on someone and just trying to jump the guards once they enter the cell. So they got to watch what they're doing too. You know, they don't have no weapons or nothing to protect themselves, only a bit of pepper spray, which some only have this.
And you say that Dr. Sean Buckingham was in the cell next to him?
Yes, Dr. Sean Buckingham was, Mr. Austin Aylward was in this cell, and Dr. Buckingham was in the next cell next to him now. But where Buckingham is a prisoner in the jail, you know, I'm pretty sure you're not allowed to administrate any medical assistance where you're a prisoner, right? Because I would say the prison would have to look at a lawsuit, you know, if they let a prisoner out and then just say the guy wasn't dying, and he did die because Buckingham gave wrong advice, or, you know what I mean? In that case, right? So I guess there's a catch-22. You don't know what to do at the time, right? I think this guy had mental issues, like problems. He was taking a lot of medication, because I noticed in the few days before this happened, like he wasn't getting out of his bed, he wasn't showering, he wasn't going down for his meals, and he was really, his hygiene was really down, you know. And I tried to speak to the guy a few times, like I got to know him, and he was a really nice guy, right? I just think he got lost in the system, you know, and that happens to a lot of people down there. Like you just get forgotten about, and when you get forgotten about, you start losing hope in yourself and losing faith in yourself.
You say you had a conversation with Austin before he died. What did he say then?
He mentioned to me about his mom and about his dad and about stuff that happened to him in his past, you know, and I told him I might be released soon, and he said, you know, if you ever come across my mom or dad, you know, tell him how much I care about him and how sorry he is for everything that happened. And he said that he was expecting to get out at the end of the month, and he was expecting to go home with his mom and dad, right? And I'd like to speak to his mom and dad and tell him, like, what he taught me personally, right?
What do you think he told you that?
I don't know. I think he was a pretty depressed guy, eh? I think he was a pretty lonely guy, because not a lot of people connected with Aylward, with Mr. Aylward, right? And like, I see the guy there, and I felt a bit bad for the guy, right? Because he didn't have anybody around with him, you know. He was stuck in his cell all day long. He wasn't washing or showering, and I could see myself getting in that routine pretty easily. And I tried to help the guy, you know. I tried to get him down for showers. I often went down and brought up his meal for him, right? And, you know, I often mentioned to the guards, this guy is not showering, this guy is not coming out of his cell, you know, he's pretty by himself, right? He didn't do no one wrong, you know, and he just seemed like he was just had a bad something happened bad to him in his past, I think.